Prosperity is within us. You'll know why I'm doing that later. Hello. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Filmmaker Focus Poll, Week 3. If you're new here, I'm your host, Carsonus from Creationists. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll get to the comments and questions by the end of the show, where we will be going over the discipline and mindset of being a creative and how to stay consistent within the medium, as well as my experience with the 10 elements on the Filmmaker Focus Poll. Let's hop right in. So, just an overview of last week. We had capture as number 1, preparation, method, lighting, creativity, perspective, innovation, sound, question mark, and support. And so, for week 3, preparation's finally going to move. Now I'm just going to pull up real quick the live right here. I know it says episode 2, so I will change that real quick. Sounds like preparation should stay higher. Yep, we are live, changing title, episode 3. Okay, awesome. Like I said, let's hop right in. So, number 1, as always, is going to be capture. Because if you don't have anything captured, you don't have anything. That's the emphasis. But anyway, hopping over to number 2, I'm finally glad I can say that I can move preparation, because I did indeed buy another battery for the 5D Mark IV. I know I don't have 5 like they recommend, but I think 3 is pretty good for a camera. I only have 2 for my Sony. But now in the spot of number 2, we're going to have perspective. And the main reason we are moving perspective up is because last week I had 7 shoots, and that gave me quite a bit of perspective. The 5 shoots turned, well, 7 shoots, wow, I just ruined that punchline. But the 7 shoots, 2 got rescheduled, 1 got canceled, and then another one thrown on, totaling to 5. And I didn't think I could ever do that many in a week. I know it might not sound like a lot to some of you, but it really did give me a lot of perspective and showed me how much I should value my time. And also, for this week, since I have less shoots, it's making me think that I can take on more passion projects, and I think that's what it's all about, being a creative. It's not just doing it solely for the work, but for the art. So yeah, moving perspective up to number 2, that's a big one. And then hopping down to number 3 on the Filmmaker Focus Poll, it was method last week, and we're actually going to leave that. We're going to leave that the same, because method is still something I am fine-tuning for this whole thing. I mean, you can probably tell this whiteboard's getting a bit more intense than last time. But yeah, method, I think that's something that I'm going to be putting at the top for quite a while as I fine-tune this live streaming process, just to overall get comfortable and have it just be fluid and consistent. So yep, method. That's going to be number 3 on this week's Filmmaker Focus Poll. And headed over to number 4 was lighting. And now we're going to move innovation in its spot. And this is actually a big one, I'm thinking, because I kind of tie innovation with improvisation. And that's what this live stream's all about. Is improvising and just being on the spot and being raw. Just being completely open and vulnerable with you guys and showing you that I am a human and I am not just a vlogger that just cuts anything that I don't want to see. So yep, innovation. As well, I had an experience with that because for one of those shoots, I only used the 50 millimeter. If you know, I broke my 100 millimeter, which I love for portraits. It's completely double the focal length of the 50. I know a lot of people get bored with the 50s, especially coworkers keep telling me at Best Buy. But yeah, I think innovation is definitely a very important one to have. I think having any type of creative restraint is going to give you better results in the end, and it lets you focus more so on the subject. That's a little... I'm really excited about this one down at the bottom. Y'all will get to see that at the end. But yeah, number 4 is now innovation for this week. I think I want to write them, but for right now we're just going to leave these lines. Headed over to number 5. We were looking at creativity, and that was a big one, but that's where I'm actually going to be moving preparation because I still want it to not be too low. Because I was actually writing this board a few minutes before this, and preparation is still going to be pretty crucial for, I'd say, the next 5 to 7 episodes. Until I get to 10, I think this is going to be quite the learning journey, and I think that's what it's all about. Okay, so hopping over, throwing preparation down to number 5. From 2. Okay, and then hopping down to number 6. We were looking at perspective, and this is where I'm actually going to move creativity. So kind of with the preparation, I think it kind of ties in hand with creativity, and that's because I think it's all about the details. And the more effort, the more heads, the more people you just put on a project, the more ideas you have that inspire other ones. And then in turn, you are getting what's truly creative. I mean, if you look out in nature, there's so many details out there. It's not just fine-tuned. It's not just one simple thing. I mean, sometimes there is one concept, but it's the little things that help support that concept. So yeah, gonna move creativity to number 6. It's still important, and I haven't got to learning about writing yet, but I will soon. And I'm thinking the first genre I want to make for maybe a microfilm would possibly be horror. I do really like action, but I think I can incorporate that in horror, so I think that's where I'm going to start. Plus, I had a friend, he's a photographer, Roy J. Biv, kind of like, Roy J. Biv, like, you get it, like the Rainbow. He just did this series, and I'm very proud of him for putting it out there, and I don't know, it's definitely along the horror line, and I don't know, I feel like I can scare some people, especially with sound design, which is actually gonna... You'll see where it lands this week. But yeah, headed over to number 7. We did have innovation, but now we are going to bring lighting down. It's still important, and I keep it in mind, but I think I'm really starting to fine-tune this lighting. I don't know if you can tell, but there is a lot more lights every single week that I am doing this. I started, I think, with a 3-point lighting system. Then last week it was 4. And right now I actually have 5 lights on me. I have this main front fill. I've got this hair light coming in from the side. I've got a eye light, actually, that's kind of filling in some shadows too, but I mostly just want my pupils lit. Got that one back there as a practical, and then as well I have that scene being lit up, which I would love a guest one day. Trying to work on that. I probably need to work on a one-man show first before I start throwing other people on, even though I think that would be a lot more entertaining, and plus I love to hear everyone's perspective, and I could talk cameras all day. So yeah, lighting is going to take its place of innovation. And now down to number 9 is sound, and that's actually, well, 8, sorry, I'm looking at it at a different perspective. But yeah, number 8, it's sound, and it's gonna stay there, mostly because with these passion projects that I'm doing for this week, I've got 2 right now. I'm thinking about taking on a third because I have 2 actual shoots, but I'm thinking I want to go for 3 passion projects. But they're mostly photography right now, mostly because my Instagram game it's been slacking. And I apologize if you follow me on Instagram, Carsonus. I'll be putting more content out there, surely. Okay, guys, and down to number 9. This one I'm actually really excited about. I've actually had the element already made, but I kind of forgot about it, and it was pushed off to the side, literally, and it's finally making its way here. And it's actually why I sprayed this. And if you don't know what this is atmosphere aerosol. It's a little blown out in the shot. But anyway, it's kind of like a smoke machine and whatnot, except it's more of a haze, as in the sense that it's thinner, so there's not as big chunks of like smoke like my house is on fire. It's just something that's subtle, kind of gives some atmosphere, and also it does diffuse light a little bit too, slightly. But let's go find out what number 9 is, the last element of the Filmmaker focus poll. I will have to take this off. It's a small one. Here we are. And the last element is direction. And this one's actually crucial. Direction is how any visual artist is able to get what's in here to another subject or person, and it's just taking that notion and passing it along. And I think that's a big part. And with doing portrait sessions, I've been noticing a lot more that my directing has actually gotten much better in the posing industry. And I think it's really relieving, because I remember I was so intimidated like a couple years back doing portraits, just because I was like, I don't know how to pose people. I don't know how to get the right reaction. And it's just as simple as not necessarily telling them exactly what to do, but like making them laugh to smile, and like telling jokes, or just not letting them always know whenever your camera is recording. It's just like you have to like play around to get the right emotion that you're trying to portray, because at the end of the day, if they didn't give it in the camera, the audience is going to feel it. And so your direction for either film or photography, I mean, it has to be well said, and you have to really explain all the details that you want to give. But yeah, direction. And let's see if it's going to pick it up. Oh wow, I thought it was thick enough. So whenever you spray this is how you see, like in, oh yeah, you can see it there for a second. You know, like in spy movies. Yeah, so obviously I need a lot more for this to pick up. You can see it better in real life. But yeah, that's the gist of it, and that is the final element of the Filmmaker Focus Poll, and it will be making its way up, but for right now, it's going to stay number 9. We'll see where it moves to next week. But yeah, you can see my cursive skills right here. It's subpar. Oh, why am I writing perspective? Nope. Got to move preparation up now. But yeah, direction. Boom. Boom. Okay. And then as always, support. is going to be the final. Whenever you put your camera on for your video is going to depict how the audience portrays it. If you want something that is gritty, action-oriented, don't throw it on a gimbal. Make sure it's handheld, super shaky. If it's shaky in real life, it should be shaky in the footage. But yep, you can also support me as well. That was a good little segue right there. Support me by hitting subscribe if you want to see more content like this. But that is going to conclude this week's episode of the Filmmaker Focus Poll. I am your host, Carsonus from Creationist. And remember to surround yourself with ideas that inspire. P.S. I didn't use any transitions. Method. It's going to stay up. I'll see y'all next time.